Nate, let's move on to the second game on this slate for Sunday. You mentioned those Warriors headed to Denver again. I'm sure they've stayed there, but they're in Denver for game 4. Game 3, it was exactly what you expected. Denver comes out swinging. They're backs against the wall. They're a caged animal, and they need to come out hard, and they do. Doesn't matter when you have 3 guys. When you have a splash trio, however you want to phrase it. We don't need to give them a name, y'all. By the way, it's fine. We can just have them be 2. The Splash Bros and Jordan Poole, whatever. But the point is they are filthy together. And with Draymond's just out there, dude, like a sniper, just picking people off because it's fish in a barrel for him. He's got 3 dudes that can hit from anywhere on the court and move off the ball, as well as any 3 players in the NBA right now off of each other, et cetera. There's a lot to like. And that's the thing that I'm going to, continue to focus on in this series is, yes, I think Golden State's going to pull it out. It's either going to be 4 or 5, in my opinion. And it's going to continue to be an offensive showing for the Golden State Warriors, who at this point, this is almost as good of an offense as they had when KD was there.
Yeah, no, totally. They have a 127 offensive rating in this series, and they're averaging 122. Once again, love their team total at 114.5. They kind of struggled at times in that game 3 with Denver doing everything they could to slow them down. Still got to 118. Still dominated the third in the fourth quarter and went 18 for 40 from 3, missed 10 free throws. I don't think that's happening again.
Yeah. Why? That was weird.
But on the other side, I like Denver to counter the only way they know how, which is to score. And they won the rebounding battle by 14 and had 11 O-Rebs. And Jokic finally got going at home. Thing is, Golden State is still willing to put Draymond on an island with him, say whatever. If Joker gets 35, 40 points, he had 5 assists and 5 turnovers. He's averaging 5 assists in the series, not getting anybody else going because everybody else is dependent on him, frankly. I mean, Denver doesn't really have a guy who can get his own shot other than Joker. And so it's a pretty simple blueprint. I mean, Draymond said he felt like they didn't even play very well in game 3. And they can get this one. So, I mean, yeah, you look at Denver down the stretch at home. The key stat all season is that they're first in 3-point D on the road and 23rd at home. And we saw that with allowing the Dubs to shoot 45%. Not much you can do when there's 3 and P out there or whatever you want to nickname them. But they're at a 120 defensive rating at home after the All-Star break. Tons of overs in that span. 224 doesn't really scare you too much. I think it's even better if you tease it with the other game. We talk about Bucks tease down or anything else you want to just get some safety or taking really either team total. I think Denver scores over 110.5 with their season on the line. I think the Dubs continue to score 115. And both are minus 115 for the over if you want to take either of those.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the reason I don't love an over in this game is there's already been internal strife, if you will, with those Nuggets. They've had a few little sideline, huddles that made it onto a Bleacher Report social media post because somebody was yelling at somebody. This is the funniest part. They had a players only meeting, and they got out of the players only meeting after after game 1, maybe it was game 2 or whatever, and a Denver reporter that I follow on Twitter asked Will Barton how the players meeting went. He goes, same bullshit. A lot of stuff was said. Who knows if anybody's going to follow up on it? It was like, oh, okay. So successful players meeting only meeting then, huh? Sounds like you guys came out of that one better. Okay, great. So moving forward, I don't know why you wouldn't expect this game. I mean, the last point to add to that is in game 3, it was another demoralizing way to lose. I mean, when you're, it's kind of like if the Hawks had lost that game after, they come back, they put on a show, they're up double digits at the half. And if they had lost that game, I would just look at them and go, okay, they're done, because you come out, you do exactly what you need to do, and you still lose. And then you go, okay, so we don't have any bullets left in the chamber to fire because we don't know what else to do here, right? And that's where you're at now. You needed a game from Nikola where he had 37, but you also needed him to have like 12 assists. On top of that 37, because he's got the ball in his hands the whole time, and there's no shot creators. That's just pure and simple. There's no shot creators for Denver right now. I love Will Barton. Like I said, he was the one with the quote talking about how this team has no more camaraderie or team chemistry of any kind at this point. They don't really seem to even like each other. And it's not like anybody's really, really coming in at this point to help out in terms of the ability to score without needing help. Right, their unassisted field goals have gone up in terms of their percentage of points that they score without getting an assist on them, because Joker's just, even if he does make that one pass, you've got Barton and Morris are really the only two guys. Monta Morris, the only two guys that I've looked at and go, okay, you can create your own shot. And both of them went 9 for 24 combined for 23 points in this last game. And it's now turned into a game where the Denver Nuggets bench was already thin. It was thin because, they're starting bench players. Will Barton is not a starter, and nor is Monta Morris, but they both need to start when Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. are not in the game, right? And so now you're talking about taking two guys off of the bench, putting them in the starting lineup, depleting your bench. And it's not fair when you have Steph Curry coming off of the other team's bench. And that's why they got outscored 49-31 in bench points, is because Curry had 27. So it seems like a little bit of a skewed stat, but it's not. The point is that the Warriors are deep enough that they don't need to start Steph Curry, because they have Jordan Poole, who's Steph Curry light at this point, maybe Steph Curry medium light. So that means that you now have a stronger bench. If Poole came off the bench, if he comes off the starting lineup, it doesn't matter. The point is they're so much deeper now that when you find those minutes with Joker off the floor, it's even worse than it was in the regular season. When he's off the floor, he was a -10. When he was on it, they were a +10. Now we're talking the same exact numbers, but he's not even nearly a +10 when he's on the floor, right? So it's kind of lights out for Denver. I don't have any reason to feel good about them winning this game. If they do, Mazel Tov, I'll just bet the crap out of the Warriors in Game 5, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, you're right about the chemistry and just the thoughts of 1, 2, 3 Cancun, because they have those two guys who've been out all season, and they're planning for next season, which is what we said in the last game video. And they don't really win when they're expected not to. Same thing we just talked about with the Bulls. 12-19 straight up as dogs, 2-6 against the spread as home dogs, losing by 7 points per game. And Joker is exhausted. I mean, you talk about the Warriors' depth and what they can throw at him, not necessarily who they can defend him with, but what they can throw at the other end with all their different death lineup options here. Looney starts and plays 9 minutes, and then they quickly just go small. Otto Porter, Iggy, Bjelica, whoever they want, to just continue to put Joker in action where he has to jump out on 3-point shooters and get back and go back and forth and then do everything he has to do on offense too. It's amazing that he's still able to put up those numbers, but this game is only 36 hours later. It's Sunday afternoon, in Denver after a Friday night late game. So I don't think they're going to be very good on short rest. I guess maybe I'm talking myself off the over for the Nuggets because I am a little concerned that they could just pack it in. I don't think this is the type of team to become the first ever 3-0 deficit comeback, and maybe not even a team that's going to get one in the series.
100%, man. And look, the Dubs, you've talked about a couple of things here where you basically, without saying it, said Steve Kerr has been really, really great in this series as well. The way he's playing his lineups, playing Steph off the bench, the way he's defending Joker, and making the case of like, it's not that hard. It's not rocket science to go, there's nobody else on your team, so go ahead and score 37, and score an assist on 50 of your team's 111 points. I don't care. You're still only going to get 60 points outside of whatever it is that you do as one player. Yeah, we're likely going to keep you, under 110 points. And yeah, I would be terrified of a Nuggets over, because I think the sort of the chutzpah and the spark that they were going to bring to really like dig deep and pull out of this series, that came in Game 3, and it was futile because of the fact that the Splash trio combined for 80 points. So I don't think there's any reason to think that they can't do that again. Maybe if there's any kind of DK specials out there, maybe all three Splash Bros to score 20, maybe all three to score 25. I'm not really scared of any of it. I think, the only thing that would scare me off a Golden State team total over is the fact that they don't really need to do much down the stretch, and they can play their bench. But even if they play their bench, it's still pretty good. And if Otto Porter and Nemanja Bjelica are out there with Jonathan Kuminga, who's an NBA future all-star, I'll still take their points. So actually, I'm just talking myself right back into their team total over no matter what, and them to win this game.